I've been sitting on Dragon Castle for about 3 or 4 years marinating. I'm excited to check this one out. Are you?
Yes.
Let's talk about it. What does that even mean, Bauer's Game Corner? Ahoy there, YouTube! We're back again today for another Thoughts from the Corner with my good friend Ronnie. And we're talking about Dragon Castle from Simon and Horrible Games. It's for 2 to 4 players. Take about 45 minutes to play. It's for ages 8+. And this is a Mahjong style game. Where at the beginning of the game, you're going to have this big old board. And you're going to set it up with a whole bunch of really nice... I thought that bag was going to explode open. Really nicely made Mahjong tiles. They're hefty, they're weighty, they're exactly how you want them to feel. I'm just going to get that out of the way right now. Also, before I forget, there's a whole bunch of different ways that you can set up this board if you become like a mega fan of this game, which makes sense because Mahjong has a huge, loyal, fervent fan base that play it all the time. So the gist of the game is you're going to set up all those tiles on this thing right here, and then you're also going to have your own little player board right here. And what you're going to be doing on your turn with your handy-dandy little player reference card is you're going to have one of 3 actions most of the time. Either you can take 2 tiles from on the board right here. So you're going to start off the bottom. You got to start off the top. And then you're going to place them onto here. And if you ever get 4 in a row, you're going to then flip them over and score them. But the more you get on here, the more you can score. So it's all about trying to puzzle it out so that maybe you can get 7, 8, 9. You got like 13 at one point, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you're trying to get as many of those as you can because then you'll flip them over and you'll be able to score a whole bunch of points. You can also just take one of these fancy little tiles off here, then get these little black things right here. And these are going to be little roofs that you'll be able to put onto your own little player board when you score something, and they'll score you a little bit of extra victory points at the end of the game. Or you can just kind of be a jerk and just take one tile from the top of here and then just get rid of it for 1 victory point. There's also a 4th action you can do, which pretty much only happens at the end of the game. We're not going to talk about it because you don't need to know about it. And that's the basic gist of the game. You could play the beginner's version of the game, which we did, and I think we'll get to that in a second. And then there's also an advanced version of the game, which means you're going to have 2 or potentially more cards out. One of them will give you an additional action that you can take each turn, and one of them will give you a different way you're going to be able to score victory points at the end of the game. And there's a pretty good variety of variability in these cards. And that is Dragon Castle in a nutshell. We played it twice tonight, 2 players. First impression, what'd you think, Ronnie?
I liked it. I definitely liked it. I especially liked how the second play it felt so much different than the first one, and I felt like we discovered a lot. Just different ways to like block each other, because the first game was pretty friendly.
It was.
And it wasn't even like purposeful, at least for me it wasn't. That's just how it played. I feel like the game would probably have went similar even if we did it again, even after playing 2 games so far. But the second game that we played was much more...
A lot of dickery.
Yeah, a lot of dickery. Like, you really want those 2 tiles, do you? Okay, well, now I have them.
And to clarify, the second time we did with these cards as well. So, did you prefer it with the cards or without the cards? Really?
Probably throw the cards. I'm sure I liked it more with the cards.
The fact that you hesitated, though, is like surprising. For me, it's like a lock, stock, and 2 smoking barrels. Honestly, if I was going to teach this to other people at our game night, I think I'd just throw them in there from the jump.
I think you're right. It was just really circumstantial, because like I actually didn't quite realize how the 1 power worked.
You did, yeah, and you still kick my butt either way, both sides.
But I'm pretty sure the correct answer is use the powers.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's the right answer.
Also, 12-minute Rodney Smith how to play video, spectacular as always.
It does make every game better.
It does, because you don't have to read through the rules. I didn't even touch. The only time I touched the rules was to clarify on special things, and the rule booklet, from what I saw, was very, very good. I honestly put this in the very good to great tier. I think it's got a lot of replayability as you hit on, just in the base game, but then, you could set it up in a whole boatload of different ways with the back of this. I wish there was a solo variant, but honestly, I wouldn't play it anyway, so I'm not going to nitpick about it that hard. But everybody's like, I want a solo version. And at the end of the day, I feel like this is my favorite Mahjong-style game I've ever played. Hard stop.
I think this is only the second Mahjong style game I've played.
Was it better than the last one you played?
That was actually Mahjong.
Yeah,
so
me too.
Mahjong in this one.
Actually, I'm at 3 because I played Not Your Ma's Mahjong. You should check out the How to Play video by Bauer's Game Corner on it. So, yeah, it's an interesting mechanism. One thing I really liked about this was the flow of the game is really simple.
Yeah.
You only have 3 actions on your turn, and they're pretty similar. You're either taking 2 tiles, 1 tile, or you just hate drafting pretty much.
I wonder how this game would work with more than 2 players.
I think you would lose a little bit of control because it definitely does feel a little bit abstract strategy-y. Like with 2 players, I pretty much knew exactly what you could and could not take.
Mm-hmm. I feel like it's likely I will like this best as a 2-player game. Because I actually, like that second game we played, like I really enjoyed that. Like I like being able to be like, okay, this is what I need, this is what you need. How do I optimize, what I need and you not getting what you need? But like, how do you do that in a 4-player game? Like you can't.
You can. Yeah, and that's one of the main reasons that I've never enjoyed abstract strategy games as much as other games, because once you get to the higher player counts, it's just take your turn and then just go piss off, and you can't even really plan as much. Yeah. But this isn't it. Yeah.
It's hard to actually say because I haven't played it with 4 players, but I would think
it just makes sense.
Probably a better 2-player game than a 3 or 4.
I still think I'd enjoy it at the higher player counts, no doubt about it, because I just enjoy the basic flow of the game, and you do get a larger thing. So yeah. But at the end of the day, after first impressions, here's what I'm going to ask you: good, very good, or great? Because I feel like that's where you are in the gambit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So where would you rank this? Good, very good, great, right now?
Definitely good to great. Probably
so very good. It's like in the middle of good to great.
More good.
Okay, so between very good and good, but it's still good nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly like the game quite a bit. It's kind of basic. I don't know. Good.
Okay.
Rather good.
Rather good. Oof, rather. I never used that word on this channel. For me personally, I'm in the very good category. I think if I routinely played 2-player game, I think this is the sweet spot. If you and someone else play 2-player games a lot, this is a game I could see you playing hundreds of times throughout your life. Like, I think it's just, it has that quality of like, oh, you want to play another game too, which I like.
And if you like Mahjong, I think it's a no-brainer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't remember how to play Mahjong that well, but yeah, sounds right.
The computer always tells me how to play it.
Yeah, same here. So at the end of the day, Dragon Castle, here's always the question that I ask. If I was going to hand you a copy of this, would it have a spot on your shelf? Because a lot of good games, they don't have a spot.
And I own a lot of games, so me taking on another game is kind of, a big deal. And I try not to be a hoarder, even though my wife would disagree.
But this has Mahjong mechanism. And I think that sets it apart.
This would have a place on the shelf for sure.
And honestly, this makes me want to play other Mahjong games. Because I'm sure they exist.
I don't even know what they are.
Yeah, I'm sure not your Mahjong.
I'll have to look up that how to play.
Check up
if it's any good.
Click up there. So yeah, at the end of the day, I am not going to keep it because I'm going to give it to Ronnie. And if I probably ever really want to play it, I'd be like, hey, can you bring Dragon Castle? I'm never going to do that, though. But yeah, enjoy.
I'll invite you over to play it.
Yeah. I'm glad that I let this one marinate for a couple years before I finally got to it. But Dragon Castle from CMON, horrible games. This is definitely one to check out. I think at the end of the day, I'd recommend anybody play it. I mean, it's fun.
Yeah.
I don't see too many people disliking this game. I think most people are probably going to venture towards the very good to potentially even great category if this is your cup
I
of
do
tea.
Recommend playing at least 2 games of it because I feel like you discover things as you play. At least we certainly did.
Well, I would hope. I mean, who's just play this game once, then never again.
Not all games. I feel like a good amount of games. I'm like, oh, okay, that's what this game is like.
That's fair. That's fair. Dragon Castle, CMON. Let me know in the comments below. Have you played this one? What did you think? And if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to click on that subscribe button as I'm trying to reach 15,000 subscribers. I need to update that. I'm over 12,000. And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube. This video is brought to you by all of my amazing Patreon supporters, and I would love it if you would join their ranks and have your name immortalized in the end of many of my videos for the end of time. But consider for only $1 a month, and as always, thanks for stopping by.